Hey guys, and welcome back. So the last video we did hit detection. So right now our character, whenever he walks into a wall, can no longer walk through the wall. What I want to do in this video is add a transition to a battle screen. This is going to be like a traditional RPG, so there's going to be random battles as you're walking around. And so it's going to change from exiting the map and going into a screen where you see an enemy, and you can choose what sort of action you want to take against the enemy. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a variable for the battle, a number of steps you take before you get into battle. So we're going to call it variable battle steps equals. And we need to decide how many steps you can take. I'm going to do 100 plus some random amount because it's supposed to be a random battle. So we'll do 300 times math.random. Okay, so it'll be somewhere from 100 to 400 steps. And every time our player takes a step, we should subtract 1 from battle steps so that there's a countdown. So if we go into update, this tracks whether or not we're taking a step in some direction. So if right pressed or left pressed or up pressed or down pressed, then we're going to do battle steps minus minus. So as long as our character is walking, we don't care if he's running into a wall, we're going to subtract 1 from battle steps. You know what I think I'm going to do is just throw this chunk of code inside of here, so that way if this if statement fails, it can just go on. It doesn't have to check 4 more if statements. Probably a silly little minor efficiency thing, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So why don't I stick the battle steps inside of each one of these if statements? Remember that the player can walk diagonally, so if I press up and right at the same time, the player is going to go up and to the right in a diagonal direction. But battle steps would be getting subtracted twice, and I don't want the rate at which you get into battles to be twice as fast just because you're walking diagonally. Okay, so that's going to count down the battle steps. And then what's going to happen whenever battle steps reaches 0? We want to get into a battle which in some sense changes the state of the entire game. So the game's going from a state where we're walking around on a world map to a state where we're in a battle one-on-one with some kind of creature. So for that, we want to create a variable called GameState. And we're going to start it out as map, which just means you're walking around on the map. And inside of each of our functions, well, let's remember, what is the game doing? It's going through a loop and it's drawing and then it's updating. So what do we want it to draw? Well, we want it to draw a map and draw a player, but only if we're in the state of the game where that we want to be walking around on a map. So if game state is map, then we're going to go ahead and draw the map in the background. Otherwise, we don't want to draw the map. And then what about update? So you should be able to walk around and subtract from the battle steps, but we are only also doing that if you're walking around on the map. All of this functionality is particular only to the map. So if game state is equal to map, it's on the map that we want to subtract battle steps and make our character walk around. Anywhere else. That's the draw map function. That's only going to be run whenever we're on the map. Draw player, we're probably always going to be drawing a player somewhere, or at least in most cases, unless there's like a cutscene. But we don't really want to be animating the player. This is all having to do with player animation, and then at the very end we're drawing a player to the screen. Let's go ahead for now and put this in only the map. So if the game state is the map, then we can check all this animation. Oops. Okay. So what we want to do is change the game state to a battle whenever the battle steps runs to 0. So here's our battle steps. And that's going to change the state of the game. So let's see, battle steps minus minus. Let's get to the end of this. If battle steps equals 0, then we're going to put game state equals battle, which means it's no longer map. Let's see what this does so far. Might just freeze everything or stop drawing a few things. So if I walk around, it's having no effect. You know, it could be happening. Sometimes it doesn't run the new code that I'm programming in. Let's see, Chrome, clear browsing data. Let's see if that helps. Okay, so what's going on? We're going to do this again. So PID equals test. And then in our loop, we'll go document.get elements by ID test.inner HTML equals battle steps. Okay, I have made this mistake before and I am doing it again. Let me make sure this gets recorded. So I need to take the floor function again. We're getting decimal values, so the battle steps is never actually equal to 0. Either we could apply the for function, or we could say if once battle steps reaches a value less than or equal to 0. Let's do what we intended to do and make this math.floor 300 times math.random. Okay, well, as you can see, it's now 345. And as my character walks around, it drops and drops until it hits 0, and then, okay, the screen blinks out. So that's fine. We haven't had it do anything yet. Now we want it to draw something different whenever we go into the battle state. Okay, so refresh. We don't need that anymore. And we don't need this anymore. Let's stop printing out the number of steps until we get into a battle. Okay, so there are 3 places where we changed the code so that it only runs if the game state equals map. One is an update. That's going to be less interesting until we want to do something in the battle. One was in draw player. So that's a place that we could go ahead and change something. So if game state equals map, we draw this animation. Let's just say if game state equals battle, then we're going to instead draw our player just as we have before, except for now we want him to face up. Let's see, so I've got the sprite sheet open, and he's going to be looking up with his feet together. It looks like right here. So this is spot 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so let's do 40 times 11. Okay, so our player's facing up. He could be facing up at some kind of enemy up here. Let's see, we also want You know what might be kind of fun? Let's make him like slide down and face the enemy. So that was here where we still have this timer. We're adding to the timer. Let's see, whenever we switch to the battle, as we're walking around, it's happening an update. Game state equals battle. Let's set the timer equals 0. And then right here we're going to set a variable. We'll call it like slide down equals the minimum. Nope, we have to put math.min timer, and let's say like 100 or something. So we'll slide them down to like 100. And this is our x and y, so we're going to put this plus slide down. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Okay, our little guy's walking around, and then he gets into position for a battle. So hopefully you noticed that as the screen transitioned, he was in the middle and then he went down. We also want to draw some kind of enemy for him to fight. When he's battling this enemy, the enemy's going to be drawn only in the battle screen. So we don't need to make a function that says if he's in the map, if he's in a battle screen. We're just going to have a function that only runs in a battle. So function, let's say draw enemy. And let's go up to our draw. So if the game state is map, we're going to draw the map. But if, okay, we can put just else if game state equals battle, we're going to draw enemy. So I put that in my draw function to determine what we're going to draw depending on the state. And in battle we draw enemy, so coming back down here to enemy, we essentially want to do the same kind of thing that we do for the character. Let's see, so, but we don't need if game state equals battle. It only draws an enemy in a battle. And instead of slide down, let's make a slide up variable. And it's going to be, yeah, this should be fine. Timer, the minimum of timer at 100, but on the y value, instead of subtract or adding slide down, we're going to subtract slide down. So we're going to do this with slide up. Okay. And right now it'd be a little weird if we did this because he's going to be facing himself, although he's going to be also looking down again. He's going to split into two people. Let's see, what happened to my graphic sheet? Did I close it? Here's our sprite sheet. We want to draw some kind of enemies. So I've got some enemies down here at the bottom. See if I can get that guy. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I counted 20. I don't know if I started at 1. I'm going to guess it's like 19. So we're going to do, going down instead of 40 times, oh no, it's here. 60 times char type, we're going to do 60 times 19. Oops, I completely counted wrong. This goes way off. Let's try 20. Oh, you know what? It might in fact be 19, but I'm going over too far this direction. I want it to be, just say 0, 60 times 19. Cool, there we go. So you run into a ghost, and then you guys split apart in distance, and we'll have to have something come up to indicate what actions you can take in the battle. But first, let's at least draw some sort of background. the background of our battle is going to be fairly plain. I'm just going to put some kind of colored box with a border, maybe like a gray box with a red border or something. So there's our draw enemy. Let's put this next to draw enemy. So we're going to have a function draw battle. Like let's do a draw battle screen or something. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just draw geometric shapes instead of copying from the sprite sheet. What we've been doing so far is context.drawImage and copying from one sheet onto the canvas. Now we're just going to do ctx dot, so we're going to do dot begin path, so we can start drawing something. And then ctx dot fill style to set the color. So the color we're going to draw is a red color. So we're going to use the hexadecimal CC0000. If you've never seen this before, these are numbers that go from 0 to 15 with the numbers 0 through 9, and then A is 10, B is 11, C is 12, D is 13, and E is 14, and F is 15. So when I say A is 10, B is 11, C is 12, so it's 12, 12, 0, 0, 0, 0. And the first two is how much red you want, the next two is how much green you want, and the last two is how much blue you want. So this is the RGB values. Red, green, and blue are the primary colors of light. So you can actually make all the different colors with just these three colors. Okay, ctx.fillRect. So we're just going to fill up the rectangle, and we want to fill up commas, everything. So we start in the top left, 0, 0, and go to the bottom right. Canvas.width, canvas.height. Why are we still writing canvas width and canvas height? We know how wide and tall the canvas is. It's 760 by 600. The reason I'm doing this with variables is because I may want to change this at some point, and I don't want to have to go in and figure out everywhere there's a number 760 or 620 or whatever, and whether or not that 720 refers to the width or something else, because as you can see there's numbers all over the place. So for now I'm going to go ahead and stick with these variables. I guess I could create a global variable that's just the width or something, so I wouldn't have to refer to the canvas. But we'll stick with this for now. Okay, so we fill that up, and then we're going to close the path. That's one rectangle, and then we're going to just do the same thing, except for if we use 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, that gives us kind of a dark gray, and we don't want to close up everything. Let's make that red border 3 pixels. So we're going to start over 3, down 3, and then only fill up to the canvas width -3 and the canvas height -3. Okay, so at least we won't be sitting on a blank screen. Or we will. That's because I never ran this function, so let's draw the battle screen. And we're going to draw the battle screen only whenever we're in a battle, and of course we want to draw it before we draw the enemy, otherwise we won't see the enemy. So we'll draw the battle screen, then draw the enemy on top of that, and then draw the player on top of that. There we go. Slide this over a little bit. So we've got this gray box. That's interesting. I don't know why we're not seeing the border on the bottom and the right, but it's got a little red border. Kind of matches our red ghost and the little red cloak that he's got there. Okay, so these guys are ready to do battle, almost. One thing that we need before we can do battle is a health bar for our player. So we're going to create a variable player stats. And one of those stats is going to be health, and it's going to have a value of 100. So here we'll be able to list all the stats for the player. And so whenever we're... Actually, you know what? We could draw it on the map or in the battle screen. We could... I'm going to do this after all this. We're going to draw it on top of everything. Draw health bar. Okay, so this is the first stat we're going to keep track of. And we're doing that everywhere, so maybe right under draw map, we'll create this function, draw health bar. Okay, and we just saw how to draw rectangles. That was the first time we did it, so I typed it all in, but you know what, I'm as lazy as I can be. So since we've typed it in once, let's just copy and paste it up here. And I'd like to make a nice blue color. Maybe we'll do something like 4444FF. So red has a value of 44, blue has a value of 44, and green has a value of 44, and blue has a value of 1515. It's not 44 base 10, it's 44 base 16. But this, hopefully you got at least some intuition that this is just controlling how much red, how much green, how much blue. And we certainly don't want to fill up the entire screen, otherwise we're just looking at a blue screen. What happened there? Draw health bar. Draw health bar. Okay, so I created an error somewhere. What did I do? Oh, you know what? It probably was, did I do something funny with the player stats? Let me put this all in one line for now. Nope. What the heck happened? Okay, so before we go to battle, what we want to do is add a variable with player stats. Let's do player stats. And we're going to give them a health value of 100. Oops, equals health value 100. Okay, and next we're going to want to draw the health bar on the screen. So I think we're going to draw the health bar all the time on top of everything. And we're just going to draw a bar, so draw a map. Let's see, where are we drawing? Update, draw. Under draw. After everything else is done, we're going to draw the stats. So we're going to draw the health bar. Okay, and so under draw map, actually we even want it there, let's just do it right under the draw function because it's being drawn all the time. So, oh, we've got draw, update, those are the two functions that we're looping through, so let's do it after update. So draw health bar, and this is a function. Okay, so what do we want to draw? We want I'm just going to draw a rectangle, keep it simple. We just saw how to draw a rectangle. I typed it all in earlier because I haven't drawn one before in this JavaScript file. So now that it's done, let's not do it again. Let's just copy and paste it. I'm as lazy as I can be. I'm going to make it some kind of blue color, so we're going to make it 44, 44, 15, 15. So remember that's 44 red, 44 green, and 15, 15 blue. Where we're in hexadecimal values, this isn't 44 base 10. Okay. So what does that look like? It's a giant blue box, because we didn't change the dimensions of this rectangle. It's drawing it from the top left corner all the way over the canvas width and canvas height. Let's try shifting this in a little bit. Let's go over 1010, and then maybe we want to go over to 20, making this 10 pixels across. And let's go ahead and go down to 110. So that is 10 pixels down. Okay, we have a little blue health bar, but we don't actually want it to be drawn always this tall, otherwise it's not showing us anything. So what we should actually do is draw it over 10, down, not 10, but 10 plus, we wanted to do 100 minus player stats.health. So player stats.health right now is 100. That's all it's going to be. Why are we doing 10 plus 100 minus this? So remember that the y values, as they go up, the top of the bar is going to go down, and this value is going to go down as our player gets hurt. So if he gets hurt, he might go down to 50, and so we're adding 100 but then subtracting off the total number of health points. And let's just simplify this to, we'll leave it as is. Okay, so should look like a normal health bar. It looks like we're pretty close to being ready for a battle. And let's just check. Actually, why not fill a black bar under this? Oh, so let's do another rectangle. And this is always going to be from 1010 to 2110, but the color is going to be no color, which means it'll be drawn black. Okay, right now no difference, but let's say that our player was hurt. So if we go up here, we could just manually change the health and see what it looks like if he's taken some damage. So his health right now is at 100. Let's say he got hurt and he's at 75. Okay, so you can see that now it's only up to this point, and then there's a black bar after it. It's kind of hard to say which is more clear. The way that I have this drawn, it might be more clear if it's white. Let's see. So let's do full color. Yes, I think that might be a little easier to see because the backgrounds we're using are a little dark. Of course, there's going to be some case, like if we make a snow level or something, where it's not going to be easier to see, but I think I'm going to go back with black just for that reason. Well, we might have a dungeon level or something where black's the common background, but alright. I think that's where I'm going to stop today. So hopefully you guys are getting something out of this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying something a little different. So I've opened a Patreon account, and you can go and support me there to give me time to make more videos. Yeah, and please leave questions in the comments if you have questions about anything. Next time we'll continue with this battle system, hopefully later on this week. Alright, thanks.